To my market wrap for Monday, January 23rd, 2017. Stocks were negative, although albeit came off the lows of the session pretty strongly, all things considered today. A lot of headwinds in the market, the new administration coming in, jobs, growth, which is phenomenal, to talk about. And um, President Trump just met with union leaders and everything to try to solidify labor, labor agreements, labor status, things like that. It's feeling good, although markets are just languishing sideways, which I think that people don't quite know what direction to take things in, which is why there's this negativity in the equity markets. However, the bond market had a decent rally today, which is pretty big. So you can see a rotation. If you pay attention to my videos and look at the just the notes on the yields and the index levels, you can sense it yourself. But anyways, let's get into it today and see how we finished up. Start them off. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down 27.40 points to 19,799.85, down 0.14%. The Nasdaq Composite closed down 2.39 points to 5552.94, or down 0.04%. The broad-based S&P 500 closed down 6.11 points to 2265.20, or down 0.27%. And the small cap Russell 2000 closed down 4.01 points to 1347.84, or down 0.30%. Moving on to other indices today. The Nasdaq 100 Triple Qs closed up 2.50 points to 5065.70, or up 0.05%. Sorry about that. The S&P Midcap 400 closed down 3.84 points to 1671.84, or down 0.23%. The S&P Small Cap 600 Index closed down 2.46 points to 825.10, or down 0.30%. The NYSE Composite Index closed down 22.16 points to 11,170.63, or down 0.20%. The Gold and Silver Index XAU closed up 2.58 points to 91.26, or up 2.91%. And the Semiconductor Stocks Index closed down 6.24 points to 923.77, or down 0.67%. And in the indices section, last but not least, the Volatility Index, or the VIX, closed up 0.23 points to 11.77, or up 1.99%. There was another one that was up about 9% in a day as well. So there was a lot of volatility factored in, although it is obviously tapered off by the close. So it's hard. It's hard to see which way to read the market, to be brutally honest with you. I mean, I'm just here reporting levels and numbers here, but my personal opinion, it is just stagnant, and it's obvious. But we need some kind of news that's going to create more momentum. I think we've gotten off of this euphoria and back to fundamentals. Earnings, however, are a mixed bag. Most companies I've seen, either barely made them or barely missed them. It's all priced in. The PE multiples are good. On average, I think 26 times, 25 times. So things are looking okay. It's just, there's a slight negative connotation, really. But anyways, let's get on to market internals. Total share volume on the New York Stock Exchange was average, not too heavy, not too light. 3.131 billion shares traded, of which 1.2 billion was advancing, 1.85 billion was declining, and 59 million shares were unchanged. Looking at the Nasdaq Composite, 1.64 billion shares in total share volume traded, of which 710.5 million shares were advancing, 878.7 million shares were declining, and 53 million shares were unchanged. Looking at the NYSE market or Amex, total share volume 108 million shares traded. Almost, 108.1. Rounded up. There we go, 108.1 million shares traded. It just ticked. Yeah, there's still volume moving, guys. I mean, we're not through the extended hour session, so of which 80.6 million shares were advancing on the NYSE market, and 23.2 million shares were declining, and 4.2 million shares were unchanged. Let's take a look at the market breadth or the advanced decline line. On the New York Stock Exchange today, 1,628 issues were advancing, 1,357 were declining, and 123 issues were unchanged. Looking at the NASDAQ stock market, 1,171 issues were advancing, 1,671 issues were declining, and 169 issues were unchanged. Looking at the NYSE market or Amex again, 172 issues were advancing, 148 were declining, and 20 were unchanged. So if you look at the breadth numbers, depending on what market you're looking at, this is really odd. Really, really odd that you would have advance to decline on the NYSE be positive, yet on the NASDAQ be more severely negative, and yet the NASDAQ 100 turned out to be positive. Where's the logic in that? That's, wow. I mean, I'm honestly gobsmacked here. That's why it's important to look at these numbers to see underlying how the market is really doing, because an index can only tell you so much. An index is only, a price barometer. But how are things really looking underneath the surface? That's why it's important for me to touch on these market internals, because it paints a different story. I mean, yes, the NASDAQ composite was negative, but what interests me is that the 100, which is the 100 biggest companies on the NASDAQ market, ended up closing positive. That is a very interesting divergence. Anyway, let's get on to the currencies and commodities section today. Let's start them off in the currencies versus the US dollar. The euro, 1.0760, up 0.0058, pretty decent rally there. Japanese yen, 112.79, down 1.80. Very interesting how that's coming down lately. But here's the gobsmacker of the day. My favorite currency, the English pound, 1.2523, up 0.0147. It's almost more than a 1% move, which I found to be very interesting. Looking at probably geopolitical things, I know Prime Minister May is coming on Friday to meet with President Trump. Hopefully they'll reach some sort of trade and or ease of access for people to come over here and us go over there and an across thing. That's very, very interesting and very exciting. So let's see what happens. The Australian dollar is at 0.7584, up 0.0028, and the Swiss franc is at 0.9971, down 0.0050. Going on to commodities today, West Texas Intermediate crude 52.84, down 0.38 or down 0.71%. Brent North Sea crude 55.35, down 0.13 or down 0.23%. Gold 1217.40, up 12.50, up 1.04%. Silver 17.240, up 0.208 or up 1.22%. Now again, you're seeing a shift in also the metals as far as commodities. So people are looking for inflation hedges, fight the safety, fight the quality. So again, that's another divergent signal here, which can explain some of the sideways action in the markets. Let's pay attention to these things, guys. It's really important. Especially, you guys who are day trading, doesn't matter. But for the long-term person, this stuff's pretty relevant. Hopefully we'll see GDP strengthen. I know rates are presumably be climbing. So maybe that's a thing. The economy's maybe proceed to be slowing down. They want to put the brakes on just a little bit. So let's get on to the equity index futures. Dow Jones futures down 12 points to 19,733, or down 0.06%. S&P 500 future down 4.25 points to 2261.75, or down 0.19%. Last but not least, a 10-year bond up 19/32 of a point. This is a pretty big move. Yield to maturity down to 2.398%. Actually, let me correct that. The 10-year bond up 18/32 of a point. Yield to maturity down to 2.400 even. Again, very interesting move. That's a little bit more than half a point move in the 10-year. The yield came down pretty substantially, actually. That's a pretty big move and actually a good thing for mortgages. Anyway, in conclusion, guys, I just wanted to say thank you very much. And if you found this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, please, I encourage comments. I want to learn from you as much as you learn from me. I will see you tomorrow. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And I just want to close and say, never give up on your dreams. Always fight the fight, no matter what obstacle comes through in your life. Persevere, and you'll be successful. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful evening once again. Bye-bye.